Well, gang, after many years, we're heading back to Fernfield to review a dog movie that spun out into a series. I've thought about reviewing Air Bud many times before doing other things instead, but this time I'm knocking this one out now before I retire from reviewing. And I mean, how could I not cover it? It's one of the quintessential dog movies to watch alongside Old Yeller, despite not being as good as that movie, and I have fond memories of it growing up. Air Bud also did well for itself at the box office, making almost $28 million against a budget of $3 million. Much like the Doggone movies, this one builds around an actual golden retriever called Buddy, owned by Kevin DeSico, who made appearances for America's Funniest Home Videos and Stupid Pet Tricks. DeSico actually first approached Keystone Entertainment to pitch the idea of a movie starring his dog, and he eventually formed Air Bud Productions that same year by 1991. He also initially called the movie Buddy, after his dog, but there was another movie called that, so Air Bud it is. And after that movie came a series whose last outing was in 2013. For now. So how did a franchise even start from such an unlikely place? Well, let's take to the court and face Air Bud. We open in the fictional town of Fernfield, Washington, where a clown named Norman Snively, played by the late Michael Jeter, is driving his beat-up truck with a big-ass clown head. Alongside him is his dog Buddy, and thankfully none of the animals talk in this movie. Instead, we have traditional silence backed by alcoholic assholes.
Do not make me use this, okay?
I don't even know why he needs a dog assistant.
Hi, Clown and the Hound! Ow!
I mean, I suppose he's for protection, but that's worthless against kids.
Hey, kids! It's Happy Slappy time!
Man, what happened to you, Slappy? You used to be cool. So Buddy is getting more fanfare than Norman by doing tricks, but then he tries the ball through arm hoop stunt and messes up. Slappy ain't happy. So Norman gets the boot and he prepares to send Buddy to the pound. He rants about how being a clown sucks, so I have to ask, why did you become a clown then? I'm sure there are plenty of different jobs you could take, but then again, you look like an asshole, so any work you'll try to take will be short-lived. That being said, the van goes up a hill and Buddy's carrier falls out. Norman probably doesn't realize this until much later, but he's probably happy for it. Now he can get to his next gig faster.
It's the clown! Let's hurt him!
Oh, crap biscuits. Then another van bumps into the carrier and frees Buddy. That other vehicle contains Mother Jackie Fram, played by Wendy McKenna, her son Josh, played by Kevin Zeger, and a younger sibling whose name is unknown to me. As we follow the family to their new home, we learn that Jackie is a widow who's just moved into Fernfield to work at the local napkin factory. That means a story about a new kid getting used to his new town, but why not have an animal friend to help with that? At least it's not a Bigfoot. We also see that Josh isn't the social type since his dad recently died in his job as a test pilot. He's also entering a new school 3 months into the school year and isn't getting close with his new classmates. The only solace he has is playing basketball by himself, and he does this near an abandoned church that Buddy is also living in. Buddy notices this kid but doesn't make his presence known just yet, because for now, Josh is trying to fit in by trying out for the school basketball team. The coach, Barker, kinda reminds me of Coach Wittenberg from Hey Arnold, in that he's a bit abrasive. Well, more abrasive, actually.
You're new here, right? Well, I could use manager.
Well,
Manager works his butt off. He arrives before the team, he leaves after the team. Think you can handle it? Practice is Friday afternoon.
Didn't even ask if you really wanted to join. But it gets worse later. Josh returns to the church and notices dog footprints. He now realizes he isn't alone and tries to lure Buddy out with vanilla pudding. This doesn't work, and for good reason, because Buddy had an abusive owner and isn't too trusting yet. So his character arc mirrors that of Josh's, which is great in that both could heal each other from their respective hardships. That happens when Josh cleans up the basketball court and brings more pudding cups for Buddy, I wonder how Jackie feels about this, because that's a lot of pudding he's wasting. Buddy finally appears and seems to be interested in his basketball, so this gives the kid an idea.
Hey, boy, come and get it. Come and get it.
Of course, at this point, Buddy isn't a gifted basketball player, as his skills were more towards the clown for hire variety. But with more practice, he could be more proficient in the sport. Kinda. That's another problem for later, because right now, Josh and Buddy are happy to have found each other. Naturally, Josh takes the dog home and tries cleaning Buddy up, and the way the dog just refuses to take a bath is pretty realistic.
Go get it, go get it.
Splish splash, I was taking a bath. You know about a Saturday night.
Some creative liberties are taken to make it look funny when the kid is trying to clean a dog, but honestly I'd take more of this than most of the gags from Buddy's. Mom comes home and Josh is on his best behavior to convince her to let him keep Buddy, but Buddy chases a ball on the stairs and mayhem ensues.
So, can I keep him?
Instead, they put posters for Buddy since he might be someone's dog, but Buddy keeps tearing them down because he doesn't want to be found. Jackie also says that if they don't find an owner, she'll take him to the pound, which makes me wonder, couldn't keeping Buddy be a good opportunity for Josh to learn responsibility while having a friend to help him get used to his new town? He was frickin' depressed before the dog came into his life, so let him have this! But that can wait, because Josh heads off to school the next day, and yeah, I wasn't joking about the Coach Wittenberg comparison.
Stuart, don't try to be a hero. Your job on this team is to get the ball to Willingham.
Now, for all intents and purposes, our strategy will consist thusly. Get the ball to Tucker.
During practice, Josh keeps noticing the janitor, played by Bill Cobbs, while getting his butt handed to him by our asshole rival character, Larry, played by Brendan Fletcher. But after school, he goes back to playing basketball with Buddy, who's showing more and more talent at other things that the plot demands.
Hey!
Josh?
No!
At this point, do you even want it? It's been in his mouth. Also, this scene kind of toes the line between sincere storytelling and the wackier hijinks that the Air Bud sequels will embrace. As a reminder, future stories will include an Alaskan snow race, an evil warlock and his demon hound, an evil cat trying to unleash an ancient Egyptian power, because of course, and space aliens that our characters must fight as superheroes. Look, none of the sequel shenanigans should be blamed on the first Air Bud movie, but I just didn't like the future direction of the series thanks to longtime director Robert Vince. Anyway, Josh finally comes face to face with the janitor, who he learns is a former basketball player named Arthur Cheney. This guy has been keeping an eye on Josh because of what he had to go through to fit into his new school, so now there's someone else who's in the boys' corner. Anyway, we fast forward to Christmas time. Jackie previously set a deadline for how long Buddy could stay with her and Josh, and at first it's really like the dog is taken away, but of course she reveals that he could remain with her son. Looks like she finally realized that Josh would be much happier having Buddy in his life. Then there's the matter of an invite to a private basketball tryout, and Josh isn't sure about accepting.
You can play.
Yep, halfway into the movie, and the dog finally shows his basketball talent. Again, this is probably due to his past as a clown-for-hire dog who can do tricks combined with playing with Josh earlier. And the idea of teaching a dog basketball isn't unfounded. There are limits, but this movie tries to be fair about how much Buddy can learn to do. So Josh decides to show up for the tryout, and he learns he wasn't meant to receive the letter. Clearly someone had an interest in him, but no one else wanted to. But he showed enough potential to join his school team, called the Timberwolves. He even befriends one of his teammates, Tom, who has a thing for trash as good luck charms.
This always brought me good luck. You should carry it tonight. Orange peel. Not just any orange peel. Scottie Pippen dropped his orange peel at the Sonics game.
It's not long before the team has a game, and there the Timberwolves are within striking distance. Then Buddy shows up to the game, and after seeing Josh play, he thinks of joining in for a wacky sequence.
Give me the ball!
And yet this is still more believable than a chimp playing hockey. The crowd also finds these shenanigans charming, and they even cheer when Buddy scores a basket. It's not every day you see that from a dog, and he's still pulled out of the court so that the game can resume. At this point, school principal Pepper, played by Nicola Cavendish, has an idea. Make Buddy into a team mascot who could do tricks for halftime shows. But before that could happen, Buddy runs off and finds Coach Barker in the worst possible light.
You can do that. Just meet the ball. Catch the ball. Just...
Yeah, this is the main difference between him and Wittenberg, in that Barker stoops to physical abuse. Pepper sees this and fires Barker for it, thank goodness, but now needs to find a replacement. At first she considers Larry's father, but Josh throws in Arthur as a suggestion and the janitor accepts. And he proves to be the right choice by getting the team to work together and understand the game at a deeper level, like when he makes this clever point.
Ball is nothing but rubber and air, Larry. Basketball is what you do with it. Before you play with this, you gotta learn how to play with your teammates.
I like this guy. Rather than be loud and mean, he's understanding and encouraging. This helps for the next game, in which we also see Buddy play the role of entertainer for the halftime show after overcoming a little stage fright. Then when the game continues, Arthur benches Larry for not passing the ball to his teammates. This draws the ire of Larry's father and leads to an argument.
This boy is the team.
Maybe he is to a worked-up father, but to me, he's a player who's got a whole lot to learn.
Come on, Larry. We're leaving.
Typical hyper-competitive parent behavior. So now Josh has to take the last shot to win the game, and he chokes. It's a teachable moment about playing without fear of judgment from others, and rather for the love of the game. Something that Arthur notes can be even hard for pros.
Same mistake you made. If you're just out there for yourself, you lose. It's all in here, Josh. You gotta play from the heart.
If you want to know why this movie goes above and beyond its silly premise, it's Bill Cobb's. Sure, Buddy will be a key character in the story, but Arthur serves as its emotional and thematic center. The idea of recovery through compassion and empathy, which can come from many different sources, gives the story a grounded and human touch that went missing with other Air Bud movies. So the Timberwolves go on a major winning streak and find themselves in the championship game. But news of Buddy reaches Norman, who's now interested in getting him back because of his fame. So he approaches Jackie to tell her that he is Buddy's original owner. She reluctantly agrees to hand Buddy back to Norman, even when her son notices that the dog doesn't want to go back.
Josh, there's nothing that we can do. We've got to pay for it. He's my dog!
So Josh falls into despair again, and it's a gut-wrenching moment since he's just recovered from his sense of loss. But on the day of the big game, Josh finds Norman's home and sees Buddy living in a trashy dump of a house. He frees the dog, leading into a chase sequence where they're running from Norman in his clown truck. He runs over people's belongings just to catch these two, but the vehicle slowly falls apart and crashes in the funniest way possible. But this doesn't mean that Josh can keep Buddy, so he takes the dog into the woods and tries to leave him there. Again, it's gut-wrenching to see because Buddy wants to follow Josh, but that could wait because it's game time. Looks like Larry is on the other team, called the Warriors, and his dad is the coach. The Warriors then storm out to a big lead, but the real problem is that the Timberwolves are hit with injury after injury. They are down to 4 players, which isn't enough, until... Hooray! The mascot is back! And Arthur has an idea. Let's sub in the mascot! He says that the dog practiced with the team and has traveled with it. But more importantly...
But you won't find anything in there that says a dog can't play.
He's right. Ain't no rule said the dog can't play basketball.
And there it is, the silly trope that's found a new life outside the movie. It's not like Air Bud invented the trope, but it elevated that sort of loophole abuse to new levels. Still, the idea that you can make this sort of argument is still stupid and inapplicable to real life. To borrow from movie nights, that would be like bringing a warthog to play basketball just because you could, and then 5 minutes later, it gores all the kids. A sport intended for humans, and in this case children, would not be compatible with animals. That dog is also more prone to get hurt than the players that might trip on him. But whatever. It's a movie intended for general audiences, and it's for one game. For a team that needs one more body out there. And Arthur even makes the other team agree to this by taunting them.
Afraid your team might get beat by a dog?
Put him in!
So at least the other team gave its consent, which means it's fair game. And with Buddy in, the Timberwolves start clawing back into the game. Norman actually shows up to watch and looks to be up to something, but that'll have to wait after the game. The teams are neck and neck, and Josh is again in a position to take the final shot. He makes it, wins the game for his team, and is celebrated. Even Larry finally respects him. Then Norman reappears to demand Buddy back, but Jackie tells him no. And since his ownership papers went down with the clown truck, he resorts to one last tactic.
I'll see you in court.
The judge of the trial is Judge Cranfield, played by the late Eric Christmas, and while there are probably cases like this in real life, I don't think they ever involved people like Norman.
Who the hell are you?
Mr. Norman F. Snively, Your Honor.
It's the clown!
Who invited that kid? He tries arguing that Josh did him dirty by freeing Buddy from his home and tries pretending to be sad about losing his dog. Arthur later counters with just letting Buddy decide for himself, and this is done by putting the claimants on opposite sides and waiting for him to go to one or the other. You'd think Buddy wouldn't take much time to pick Josh, but no. At first, he's pretty confused. Then, just as it seems like Buddy is finally choosing Josh, Norman tries to draw him in with a newspaper. But as we all know, that has the opposite effect, and Buddy shreds it to pieces before finally joining Josh.
Case closed. Will somebody suppress that crowd?
And that was Air Bud. Honestly, it's still a relatively good movie for me, because it helps itself by trying to tell as grounded a story as it could. Yeah, there's a basketball-playing dog and even some forced humor, but it still tries to make you care for its main characters. And Buddy only really played a game when all the other options were exhausted, short of forfeiting. It's actually Bill's character that elevates the story by being a kind-hearted and well-meaning coach who can connect to his team and help his players connect with each other. I suppose some elements could have been expanded upon, but in the end it's a feel-good sports animal film. Alas, future Buddy films after this kinda missed what made this one work, and you have to wonder if this pattern will continue with Air Bud Returns, which is coming in August of this year. No matter how that one does, at least the first movie will always be fondly remembered for doing its best. Stay tuned for next time, though, as we take a look at a rather famous Ralph Bakshi movie. It's appropriate given the timing of everything, so look out for... Oh no!